everyone. I'm here with Rob, learning about the mind. And I think that this is a really good analogy here, the people's idea of the mind, like what we actually see literally in our mind's eye, as to how we store and process information. And when Rob showed this to me, it's just a really good visualization of kind of how two-dimensional we think things are, and how we have, different levels of like, oh, this is where I meditate, and this is where I eat my good food, and this is where I keep in touch with my friends and family. And if everything's in order and has its little place, then I'm good and I don't have to worry about my anxiety or my traumas. And realistically, it's an entire warehouse of papers and boxes and storage units, and things are dusty and you haven't been there in decades. And it really opens things up, and it's fascinating. And I'm just so thankful that I have this opportunity.
Yeah, it's really good to have you again. Thank you. So I have this slide up because over the years, I have helped so many people, thousands and thousands of people worldwide. And most of the time, and it kind of comes as a bit of a shock in the beginning, people have this idea that the mind looks like this. Maybe it's 100 stories, maybe it's 1,000 stories, like there's like 1,000 sheets, maybe 1,500. And then once you like read through them and learn about certain things, that you're done and you've got the mindset that you need to create a good life. Now, unfortunately, it's not the case, because the mind looks more like this. It looks like a warehouse full of pallets and boxes and packets of these sheets of paper. And what's interesting here, if you look at this, I think it's a really good metaphor, because it looks very neat. It's neatly packaged. Some of these things are in a box. And when you look at it, it's like, wow, I have a neat, organized mind. Wow, I think I am good. I've done the work. I've heard it so many times. I have done the work. I have a neat, organized warehouse. Now, here's the caveat, or here's the trick. And this is an ego trick. Every single box or this package actually is packaged by the ego, so we will not find what's inside. So what we have to do is not just, look at the boxes and then put check marks on it, but have to open every single one of them up. And there are certain memories and messages written on those individual sheets of paper. And then when you apply the right technique, then you're allowed to take it outside the warehouse. You see, what we like to do is create affirmations like, I no longer have problems, my traumas are gone, and I'm financially free, and blah, blah, blah. And I mentioned in another video that affirmations are wonderful, but they now begin a very destructive process, showing us what's in the way of what we wish for. And since this is what people, think or conceptualize about what the mind is, we are not supposed to organize the mind where it's still full. But here's the true answer. We are supposed to empty our mind. And the warehouse is supposed to look like this. You see, as long as we have memories, then we make decisions based on past memories. As long as we have unresolved traumas, all of those are messages that will cause us to not be able to truly decide for the best option. It will always have some sort of strategy where we consider that we don't want to do that anymore. We basically are in patterns of avoidance. And this metaphor here, this empty warehouse, is what we are supposed to achieve. This is what we are supposed to attain. But you can only empty it once you examined what's on the piece of paper, and then you are allowed to take it outside. Now, the very back of this warehouse is where Christ consciousness is. This is where, like, once you walk through this and your warehouse is empty, your mind no longer influences how you feel. And the mind also includes bodily memories, surgeries, medical interventions, and so on and so forth. But the other end, like you can see that distant door or the opening, is where you cannot have illness, where you cannot have problems, where you cannot have fear. And this is sort of counterintuitive, and that's why I'm so glad that we have the opportunity to show this so that people understand that you're not supposed to organize your mind, you're supposed to empty it. Isn't it cool?
It's fascinating. I'm so thankful. And it really is interesting when you talk about like the health benefits too. There's no boxes in there that are going to trip you up and make you sick. It's like it just feels very flowy. And I think it's great. Thank you so much.
Yeah, with pleasure. Thank you, Holly. Catch you on the next one.